Just a couple of guys, a couple of microphones, and a heck of a lot of know. It's Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.
What they say, it's not the X's and the O's, it's the Jimmies and the Joes. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Football on the Know. I am Jim McPhee. Alongside of me is Mr. Joe DeCapita.
What's going on, Know-It-Alls? Welcome back for another edition of Football on the Know Show.
Yeah, let's get it.
Locked and loaded, ready to go.
Know-It-Alls.
Let's have it. Listen, we are into week 11. Man, has
Getting
this
there.
season just kind of flying by? But, oh my God, the surprises are endless. Every single week we are not, we're shocked by what's happening, whether it be an injury to a premier player like Cooper Kupp. He's going to be out on IR for 4 weeks, the next 4 weeks. It's been absolute chaos, whether it be injuries, whether it be teams just not showing up to football games, whether it be to surprises, all-out surprises. Look at the Jets right now. Look at the Dolphins. I mean, this is truly exciting for this season of football, and we can't wait till we get to the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and the Green Bay Packers won a game, right? And they did it against the Cowboys, America's team,
It's
right?
funny.
There to get it done, huh?
There's a Cowboys fan that I was talking to last week, and he was like, "Hey," he goes, "I know that we should win, but," he goes,
got a
the Packers have our number for some reason. Every time we face them, we lose to them." He goes, "I won't be surprised if we lose this game." And I go, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I don't know what it is. It's just whenever we play the Packers, we lose."
It is. It's like that, and you see that in the NFL a lot. Usually with teams that are in the same division that see each other, even though the
like
personnel
divisional
changes, they
opponents,
just still kind of know because they got to play each other twice a year. So you end up knowing each other. But yeah, sometimes they just got it. But you think of Mike McCarthy too, Aaron Rodgers. They've got to be familiar with each other. He knows the schemes the way it's going to be, so he's got to be even telling that Green Bay defense to get it done.
Talk about
and what
being
to do,
familiar.
but,
Mike McCarthy and him shared a very, very nice embrace at the end of the game.
They did.
Like, "I miss you, buddy. I miss you too." This Matt LaFleur guy, he doesn't know how to call plays. He's pissing me
man,
off.
did you see? That's the thing, too. Did you see Aaron Rodgers start yelling at LaFleur for
Oh,
that
yeah,
one? When they go to try and do a pass or something like that on one like fourth down conversion or something. It was crazy, and then he flipped out on him. He's like, "Why would you do that?" Because
At the end of that game, Rodgers even he said that he was like just frustrated. He goes, "The play calling." He goes, "It should have been better."
Yeah, and that's why. Remember when Matt LaFleur came there? There was discussion about taking audibles away from Aaron Rodgers a little more and stuff like that, because he wanted to be able to run his offense the way he wanted to run, which meant less audibles and stuff like that. And maybe that's again another thing that they've kind of butted heads on, through this whole thing that you've seen when they do have issues. At first, there seemed like a lot more. Then the last couple of years, it seemed since they were winning, especially, they got more comfortable with each other. So it looked like it was good. It wasn't until last week that I saw, again, a little more frustration setting in with each other.
But I mean, that's the thing too. Is a new coach coming in, implementing his new offensive philosophy. Even though Aaron Rodgers is a premier MVP type of talent, when he got there, when Matt LaFleur got to the Green Bay Packers. However, when you're new and you're coming in, you're trying to install your offense. The other part of it too is like, you have Aaron Rodgers at your disposal. However, he still needs to learn the offense too. So maybe that was part of it early on, was until Rodgers fully understood the offense, we weren't going to see him being able to just audible whenever he felt like or what have you, bearing the situation.
Absolutely.
Listen, if you're new to Football on the Know Show, tuning in, thanks for joining us, by the way. Could you do us a huge favor? Head over to YouTube, if you will. Hit the subscribe button. Search us up, Football on the Know Show. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. Or, hey, at the very least, join up on Facebook. Become a member, become a know-it-all, and we are anywhere and everywhere. Anywhere you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, you name it, we're there. Hit the follow button, follow along. But if you want to be more interactive, we are the most interactive NFL talk show out there.
Hashtag
Help
know
us
it all.
prove it. Drop comments down below. We are live right now. If you drop a question, if you drop a comment, opinion, anything, we will respond to it. We will react to it. Let's go, everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, not a whole lot going on in the NFL right now, but one thing I think that has been consistent throughout the year is the inconsistency of quarterbacks throughout the teams. I mean, I think out of any year in the NFL, of what I can remember, between injuries of quarterbacks this year, but then even the fact of just horrible play or whatever, not, finding that true starter, that if you looked at the starting quarterbacks on the rosters throughout this season, it's been a hodgepodge of different guys and ins and outs where it's just altogether not very good. You know what I'm saying? You got guys that there were question marks about this season. Well, I just named top 3 right now. Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa and Daniel Jones. Yep. All 3 of those quarterbacks, they said, hey, they got more weapons or they did things to try and help them out.
Right.
What are they going to look like this year? How are they going to look like? Because this is the test to see where they are. And those were 3 of the top type of guys now that are really performing this season. And meanwhile, your Tom Brady's, your Aaron Rodgers struggling because of the fact that their offensive lines aren't there. And then other teams too that thought they maybe had a guy, but he's not the guy, or even injuries on top of that, compounding and being problems here. So now these guys are being your standalone guys, and who would have thunk it, by this time in this season?
You bring up those 3 guys, and those were the guys with the big question marks coming into the season. Were they going to be? And this was a prove-it year for all 3 of them, because there were some rumblings, and I say some, but about Jalen Hurts. Can he be the franchise guy for the Eagles? Can he turn the corner and be more consistent as a quarterback? And hey, he answered all the questions. This season, he is going off the wall, whether it be with his legs or with his arm. He's slaying defenses. And then Tua's another guy that we were like, well, can he win games? We're not really sure what he has. Everybody makes fun of his arm and, he's got a weak arm. And you wouldn't know it this year. Like, yeah, granted, I'll give you this. Tua does not have the strongest arm. However, he's making it work. He is an accurate passer, and he's displaying it this season. With a new addition with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in the second year, they're blowing up this season. And it's just like, it goes to show you that, talent sometimes isn't going to happen right away. When you bring in, and this is despite it, we're talking about quarterbacks, but despite that, any position, this is for any position. The guy that you bring in, whether it be a draft, free agent, trade, what have you, sometimes, a lot of the times, that one player can't acclimate to your team right away as fast as you would like. You want your guy to be a Pro Bowler the following year, and it just doesn't happen that way sometimes. Look at Jalen Hurts. It took him a couple years to get it. You know what I mean? Tua, bearing the injuries that he's gone through, he's also had to kind of grind through his injuries, come back healthy. And now he's starting to prove himself this year. You know what I mean? And Daniel Jones, he doesn't have my vote yet.
Right.
I think what Brian Daboll and the Giants are doing is great, because they're playing to each player's strengths for what they got on the roster. And they know Daniel Jones is not the prototypical franchise quarterback who can throw the ball and create time with his legs and stuff like that. He's a guy that is just ruining defenses with his legs. And then, once in a while that opens up the passes, so it's pretty easy. So they're doing a great job of developing game plans week to week to week with Daniel Jones and what he does well. And that's why you're seeing the Giants with so much success there. So that all I'm saying is that sometimes we all as fan bases want our draft pick or want our new free agent signing or a trade that we acquired, a player that we acquired in a trade. We want them to explode on the scene and become MVP, Pro Bowl level type of player, but sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer than you like.
Yeah, and then you bring up Tua and the fact that offense, when I was first looking at this and, Mike McDaniel is going to be there, I'm thinking of what I knew from Kyle Shanahan's offense, because, again, you look at the running backs that he picked up and even getting the go get the trade and get Jeff Wilson out there. It's instantly made a nice fit there, but
boom,
having
touchdown
Tua there and then the weapons around him, they are utilizing the weapons. It's like almost like what you probably imagined the Cleveland Browns should have been when they had Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. on both sides. You've got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle both in the top 5 in receiving yards.
Yep.
And these guys are lighting it up in big-time points again. They're kind of showing you almost in the beginning of what the Bills were in the beginning, like this is what an offense can be and how it's run when you're running on all phases and bang, you don't get it done. So for the lefty, he's really been able to get it done here and change the narrative, I think, of his situation in his career right now. And they're making a big push, especially now with Buffalo having the struggles that they've had here and losing to Minnesota in a game that, again, it was a tighter game, but those ones that they should have won. And it seems like when it's a tighter game, they just can't get the job done. And whether it just be mistakes here and there, I don't know if it's nerves or whatever and stuff.
No, I don't think it's nerves. But I would
just not getting it done.
Yes and no, because they've been in tight games before and they've always come out on top. But what I would say is like the late struggles that we're seeing. Listen, it's not easy to stay at the cream of the crop. It's not easy to look at what the Eagles. The Eagles just suffered their first loss, and to a team that not many people predicted to beat them. Washington Commanders with Taylor Heineke leading the way. He did his job, and Washington beat the Eagles that nobody thought that, no one thought that they were going to get their loss this week.
Right.
So that just goes to show you that you play any given Sunday. You don't know what's going to happen. And for the Bills, they're dealing with a little bit of adversity right now. And let's see how they react to it going forward. This week, you gotta come away with a win. You gotta wake up. You gotta execute. And this is everybody can point the blame at Josh Allen easily, right? Because he's the quarterback. Because he's the one making decisions. He threw the interception at the end. But it's a team sport. The defense didn't do enough to stop. Listen, if you can't stop a team from scoring 30 points, that's a lot of points. And they ended up, obviously, the final score 33-30. But if you can't stop a team from scoring 30 points, you're not doing your job as a defense.
Right.
And as an offense, if you can score 27 or more points, usually in the NFL, that's a win, no matter what. But all in all, it's a team sport, and I feel like now that they're going through some adversity right now, it's going to be good for them. I know it sounds crazy, but it will be good for them going down the stretch, because now if they can come back from this, now they can say, okay, well, we know that as a team, we can get through anything together and still come out on top in the end. So this could be a good thing for the team as they get closer and closer to this divisional race now and playoff push.
Yeah, it's much like what Sirianni was kind of talking about with his team. I think they've hear the narrative that they're probably the top seed in the AFC and around there, expected maybe to go to the Super Bowl and stuff. And they've got the, the machismo about it. They think they're gonna, and they were blowing out teams. So getting to these tough teams, they're kind of like, oh man, these tough games. Oh man, now we got our back against the wall. We're not used to this. So it's not being able to fight through those different things. But when you look at Josh Allen, you're pinned against the end zone. How many times does he run quarterback sneak? It just made it easy. I mean, to mishandle the football there, just calm your nerves, do it. You get it there and you fumble the snap, and to where it results into a score. I mean, it's brutal. And then I think it seems too as of late, because if you looked at the MVP, standings, they're always looking at that right now. Who is it? Who's in the race? Who's the best quarterback in the league right now? You don't have all those debates, and it's Josh Allen. And some people are saying Patrick Mahomes. Some people saying Jalen Hurts even at this point. Look at his turnover situation this year. He is turning the ball over in bad situations, and it's a lot. More than what last year was, and it's those situations that have turned the game around to where they have lost now, and that's what I mean. They're driving. Luckily, they didn't get that one catch revoked, when that was kind of a bobble at the sidelines there that helped that drive stay alive. But when crunch time's on, they're there. They're there to drive to end the game once again, to ice it once and for all. And he stares down a guy and throws the ball anyways, and it's a pickoff, easy pickoff for Patrick Peterson.
Definitely a mistake that he would love to take back.
And that's one of those things these young quarterbacks, I think, still need to go through, because we saw it with Patrick Mahomes, I think, in his first 2 seasons as well.
But what you also like to see from a guy like Josh Allen is that after he threw that pick, he was absolutely disgusted with himself.
Yeah.
He was so frustrated, and and rightfully so. You know what I mean? Because when you make a mistake, you should own it. I screwed up. I apologize, but hey, we're gonna move forward. Let's see what we can do next week. We'll work on those mistakes, and we'll get better from it.
All right, we've got Jeremy Clute in the house with us tonight.
What's going on, Jeremy?
What's up, homies? What's going on,
What's going on,
Jeremy?
bro?
Pleasure
Welcome
having
to
you
the
with us
show.
tonight, man. Definitely chime in on some of these quarterbacks. What do you think about the quarterbacks right now? One other thing I think is the great storyline, too. If you're given a reward for a comeback player, I talked about your Jalen Hurts. I talked about your Tuas, your Daniel Jones. Geno Smith. You can't deny it. This guy,
It's
again, has
100%.
been written off so many times,
100%.
been on a loser Jets team, back up on the Giants quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Back in Seattle, and we kind of looked at it where people, there's memes about it, and there's jokes about it, about the trade and what Seattle had done and gotten for getting rid of Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
To where you had your Drew Lock, right? Well, he's going to probably be the starter here, but then they're like, oh, we'll bring Geno in again because he's familiar with the offense. Here he is. But he'll probably now get the starting job because he's familiar with it. He knows how to run it.
Right.
And he's got that still athletic ability that Drew Lock definitely doesn't have. And the fact that it's turned in from a narrative that he can control the offense to where he's really getting this offense going, and he's really elusive and making some plays happen to where they've forgotten about this. Russell, who again?
I mean, here's the thing is like, you knew something was up in Seattle. We didn't pick up on it right away, but maybe we should have, because usually we're pretty good about reading between the lines. But for them to not make any quarterback moves other than trade away Russell Wilson, and obviously in that big conglomerate of trade that they got from the Denver Broncos in terms of players, a lot of people pinpoint like, hey, whoa, they got Drew Lock in the trade. Does that mean he's going to be the starter? Like that was the whole
right.
the whole spin
you
on
even
it.
tie him with Noah Fant too, so you figure these guys know each other.
Right.
Yep.
They got chemistry and everything, and they can work on this offense as long as he can learn the offense, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
Before the season gets here and gets comfortable, then maybe that'll be the move. But then then everybody's looking at like, well, Geno's still there. Geno knows the offense already. What's to say that maybe Geno could start? We didn't hear the rumblings about possibly Geno being the starter as of week 1 until it was like a couple weeks before the season started.
Right.
So for Geno to not only hold down, that quarterback position and become that starter for this upcoming season, man, has he really put an impression on his teammates? He has the team under his belt. He's doing some big things in Seattle now. Now he's being viewed as one of these starting quarterbacks once again. And we talk earlier in the show, we mentioned how sometimes players don't blossom as soon as we want them to. Geno Smith is the perfect explanation for this. Got drafted by the Jets. That didn't work out real well at all. It ended up traveling a couple different teams. Ends up in Seattle as a backup to Russell Wilson. And now all of a sudden, at the latter part of his career, now he's not only the starting quarterback, but he's doing a hell of a job.
And maybe the longest term with a coach that he's ever had, though, because you think of the other teams that he was with a lot of changeover. The Jets with Rex Ryan and moving on and things
New
like
regimes,
that all the time. And then even back up with Jets under, the regimes that are there. Same thing. And now you see maybe consistency here in the way. Now maybe Pete Carroll gets a lot more credit for what he's been able to do then. Jeremy Cluse in the house. He said Geno Smith has a team that actually has confidence in him, and that's a big difference. Others teams gave up on him very quickly. And that's the thing, though, maybe too. And that's they tell you when you go into the NFL, it's not only just the player, but it's also what situation he goes into and with the way the franchise is all together and how it sets you off to be, in a right spot to get growth.
And just like what Jeremy is saying, it's also because it ties into exactly what you said is the changes, the regime changes. So when that happens, all the players that are currently on the roster, you're not safe. You're not safe. So Geno Smith, unfortunately, he's been through some situations where he wasn't safe. And they were like, let's move on from him. We already saw enough of him. Ends up in Seattle. And this kind of was like a blessing in disguise for Geno, is to be a backup to Russell Wilson. Learn the playbook, do what you can in practice, do what you can to develop as a quarterback even further in your career. And then when your time comes, which it happened when Russell Wilson was shipped out, now it's your time. Seize it. Go and get that starting job. Prove to the coaching staff that you've been with that you can not only take over that spot, but also maybe be the future as well.
And also buying into the system because, again, what was the system? And what we're starting to hear now since Russell Wilson has left, the thing is he wanted to be more of the focal point and be more involved in getting the passing game going, but it seemed like the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll wanted to be more of a run-first type of team, and that fits into, I think, what helps Geno Smith, too, so he can make limit mistakes.
Let's be honest. Like, Pete Carroll and the Seattle Seahawks, like, they've always been viewed as a physical running type of team. I understand Russell Wilson wanted a little bit more balance, but listen, you're getting paid to do a job. Just do your job.
Your job is to win. That's it. All right, we've got Brandon D'Angelo is in the house with us tonight. Brando's in the house with us.
Welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, there he is. He's in there. He says free Taysom Hill, Joe. There you go. He's on the Taysom Hill train.
I didn't know if you knew this,
but
what's
up?
Brandon is a Saints fan.
Really, I did not know
Yes, he
that.
is.
Well, I can guess it now. Maybe he'll because he bring up the Taysom Hill, and maybe he's on the train that I'm thinking. Because again, maybe it's not long term, obviously, because if you put him in as the true starter, people figure him out pretty quickly, and then it's over. But this season, at least, again, when I've seen him in there, it seems like the offense has just run a little better. It's just another one extra thing you need to think about other than Andy Dalton back there. You know, a stationary guy that's still trying to look down the field, trying to make things happen with his arm because he ain't going to do it with his legs. Taysom Hill, you get a little extra something. Who knows? Maybe at this point, with the way the Saints are playing, they need to run all three quarterbacks out there at one point. Who knows?
To be honest with you, like, here's the thing, too. Is you got to remember, the Saints have been battened and beaten injury-wise, up and down that roster, heavily on the defense. They didn't even have starting caliber receivers. You know what I mean? For a long time. Chris Olave came back from injury. Now that he's the go-to guy. And you see Andy Dalton as a quarterback is going to him often because he's the only one that's getting open.
He's the only one he's got, though. The others have been injured.
So what I would say is, like, the funny thing is now that Winston has been healthy and it looks like they are going to make that switch this week to Winston to start this week, and Dalton's going to sit. The funny thing is they're also getting Jarvis Landry back, and they have Chris Olave, and Michael Thomas is done for the year. But now they have those two starting caliber receivers now, and if all of a sudden Winston comes out and starts throwing touchdowns,
it's just
and they're
a
like,
happy
"Oh,
coincidence
Winston is the man." And I'm like, "No, he has more weapons now,
he does.
and they're
It helps.
healthier." Because now we're also getting news out of New Orleans that also Trevor Penning, the first-round draft pick, is now due to come back off of IR to return to the team. So it seems like now they're starting to get healthy at a good portion of the schedule to maybe make a push and make a divisional race.
Right. Brandon says Andy Dalton couldn't throw a patty on a grill without missing. So
I would like to see that.
Yeah, we would.
I would.
The red rifle, trying to put it
maybe
out
he
like
could
patty
make
on
it.
the grill. I like it. See that. But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what they wanted this offense to be, though, Joe. You know,
Yeah,
in the
right.
beginning of the season, they named Jameis Winston as the starter anyways.
Right.
So it's only natural that he come back here, too, with the weapons to be able to come back so that you can
Mm-hmm.
finally see what this offense was intended to be. You know what I mean?
And then also they got Adam Troutman back last week as tight end. So everything's starting to come together for New Orleans. Everyone's starting to come back and get into that healthy section of the injury report. So we'll see what New Orleans can do down the stretch.
Now, let's get back to some of the stuff we had talked about before when we were talking about quarterbacks with you. We brought up Seattle and stuff like that, too, and now Jalen Hurts. But the Taylor Heineke situation again, Joe. Again, I mean, do we have to say we're right again or what? I mean, it's pretty
Might as
easy
well.
at this point.
Hashtag know-it-alls.
This is what it's just bad franchise. You just know it. They make poor decisions. It's not even just the owner at this point. It's just it trickles down from there to everybody else. Why go and make the trade for a guy that just again can't win a playoff game, can barely get you even there, it failed multiple places, Carson Wentz, and giving up trade value for a guy you already had in-house that was winning some games for you that your
last
team was
year.
behind. Your team, obviously, when you see them there, you can see they rally behind this guy. And then him, whether he's even being a major part of the team or not, like that last game, he had not even any touchdowns at all, but he had like 100 and something odd yards.
Right.
But he was fired up just as much for, other people to get touchdowns and
Right.
be in this game as anybody. And
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah,
even him throwing the touchdown pass. You know what I mean? He gets amped up. He puts it on his back. Like Taylor McLaurin was getting interviewed later on SVP, and he says he's gritty. I like those type of guys because he's kind of hinting out how much he loves this guy.
Yeah.
And then it was more of an afterthought of, well, if the team decides to go with Carson Wentz too, I like him too, and whatever the team decides is good.
Don't Band-Aid.
But you can see it physically. You could see the way the players react. And for a guy that was already in-house that you could have just started the season off with and then maybe even draft a quarterback with one of those picks or whatever you might have had and be your bridge guy because we know he's older too. So he's got to be your bridge guy at one point.
Yeah,
and he does his job, what he's supposed to do. And that's all he knows. He knows to do that.
Yeah,
as
so,
far
I mean,
as I get my chance, I'm doing it.
So the thing is about this whole situation is that it's funny how things work out because Carson Wentz, when we first heard the news that he was going to get traded to Washington, we were like, why? What do you see in Carson that is better than what you have on your roster right now? And we saw how Taylor Heineke last year, when he got his opportunity to start, when he went in there, the offense seemed to not only run better, but they were scoring points. And it wasn't just because of Taylor Heineke, but there was something about Taylor when he got in there. He had more command of the offense. His teammates around him believed in him more, and they started to make some surprise wins. And then you fast forward it to this year, offseason, Wentz is traded again. Okay, Washington? Wait, what? But they have Taylor. So why are they trading for Carson, just like you said? You basically gave up draft picks for a guy that, one, you have a quarterback already in-house that has proven he can win games. Two, they're around the same age. And three, Taylor Heineke is better than Carson Wentz. Like we've been saying, like, hey, maybe Taylor Heineke the following year is going to be the starter. You know what I mean? We thought that was going to happen. That trade happened. It didn't make any sense to us. Right. And now we're seeing it doesn't make sense to Washington. But they were just kind of late on the thinking of that. Right. So with Taylor now coming in, you just see it's completely different for their offense. Not only is the team believing in Taylor Heineke, but also the offense is more efficient. The chemistry is just better with all the receivers around him. You know what I mean? And then when they utilize the run, now teams are they're more worried about the pass because they're like, oh, well, this guy can deliver the football. We need to worry about that. And then here comes these running plays on him. So it's like we've seen this happen before. We're seeing it. History is repeating itself again. And now that Taylor's got another opportunity yet to try to prove himself, I understand he's at the latter part of his career, 30 years old. But this has got to be the answer for you guys. And use Taylor as a vehicle right now. Now's the perfect time. Keep him your starter for the long haul. This upcoming draft, maybe dabble in possibly looking for the next future quarterback. But at least you have Taylor Heineke. Keep him as a starter, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Eric Bowers is in the house with us tonight.
What's going on, Eric?
He goes, it shows the ineptitude of Washington. Absolutely. I mean, altogether. And I
Welcome
think the
to the
team
show.
altogether stands behind Ron Rivera even, too. You see the emotion, in the locker room after that victory, too, as well. And you see that they love to be that team that just grinds throughout everything and through the adversity, and they want to do that. But again, a team that wasn't expected to do a whole lot. So what were they expecting to do when they went and got a Carson Wentz? Did they think they were going to make a playoff run, or like what's the deal here? So they had the guy in there.
That's what they thought.
I guess, and they could have just moved forward with Heineke and just drafted a guy to move on. But we shall see with them. But I mean, that's a great story. And I think as you're hearing that Carson Wentz is now throwing the ball and trying to work on the sidelines, at this point, you just got to move on. I think, like Jeremy says, he's just got to be a backup starter here at this point, Carson Wentz. But again,
you're right about that,
though. You know what I mean? But he
no,
should have been
anywhere.
He should have been anywhere.
He should be a backup. You're absolutely right, Brandon. And Brandon also commented. He goes, Wentz is only good as the receivers around him, and he plays really well when his teammates believe in him, especially his linemen. I agree. Heineke is the better option chemistry-wise. Also,
a little more accurate on those short passes.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Wentz he's proven more times than not that he is not capable of sustaining long-term success. You might see a highlight here, a highlight there with Carson Wentz as your quarterback, but you need to have continuity. You need to have consistency as a quarterback, and that's the problem with Wentz. You just don't see enough consistency in his game. And yeah, you're right. he is definitely one of those quarterbacks that you say he's only as good as his receivers around him. But guess what? Washington has a pretty nice set of receivers around him. So he wasn't able to do it with them. Terry McLaurin, you know what I mean? Jahan Dotson, the rookie, who I guess is coming back from injury this week. You know, Curtis Samuel, you know, they have players to get the ball to.
Curtis
so
Samuel staying healthy and being out there.
that's
the thing. He wasn't even able to
right
get
now.
the ball to Terry McLaurin still. That's the thing. Terry McLaurin was still there when Carson Wentz was in there, but he just wasn't able to get him the ball. This guy is. You know,
He's holding
Taylor
on to
Heineke.
it.
But I think the one thing that did help though too is getting Robinson back, the guy who had been shot multiple times, and having that quick
Brian
recovery.
Robinson.
And him and getting a running game for this team for a guy that actually maybe can stay healthy for them too, because that's Washington's Achilles heel, I think, that they've always had for themselves too. They're good at drafting some of these running backs, but none of them could ever stay on the field for a full season at a time. So altogether, it's working right for him. And Carson Wentz, we just see it as it is. He's got to be just that backup guy. And tell you the truth, you don't hear the good stories about him in the locker room. So it just makes me think that he's just an asshole, that people don't like him. So in the locker room, they don't like him. I think he's just an a-hole. So
Might
bottom
be.
line,
Might
what
be.
I mean? People like this Heineke guy, so. There you go. And Bauer says his teammates lose faith in him, and eventually it causes friction between them. He wasn't exactly popular in the locker room in Philly. See, there you go.
Right.
But I think it's just maybe, I don't know if it's his attitude, he's an a-hole, or just, I don't know what it might be. I don't know. But they lose faith in him.
You know
and,
something?
And
like
they can't
if
go
you,
forward with it.
a lot of times you can tell, how teammates feel about each other on the sideline. Us as fans, we watch the game and we love it. But if you kind of pay attention to body language, to see where people are sitting, where people are standing, who they're standing, and who are they next to, you know what I mean? Are they conversating about the game and they're joking, or obviously if you're winning, you're having fun, but it's like body language and attitude on the sideline. When you watch Carson Wentz on his old tapes on the sideline of the Eagles, you could see him, kind of like, oh, we got to get this fixed or that type of fixed, and receiver, you got to run this route, and I saw it this way, you saw it that way, but you didn't see anybody kind of like high-fiving the guy on the sidelines. You didn't see like any real camaraderie. With
I always see
Carson
him sitting
Wentz.
on the bench by himself. Yes. I don't see them all slapping him like,
Secluded.
hey, good
Secluded,
job in
yeah.
there and talking. So I get you there too. Brando says, can we talk about what's up with Josh Allen lately? It's bad. Is he bad coaching, or is he just getting confident and cocky? Joe, we talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, what's your point on this then? What do you think? Again, I think we have a little different takes, but what do you think on this? Is Josh Allen? You said again, just steady the ship. It's not exactly all his fault.
No, it's not. It's a team sport. That's why we play the games. Hey, listen, no one's blaming the defense. Why? Why are we not blaming the defense? Defense gave up 30-plus points in this game. That is not okay. If you give up more than 27, usually that means you're going to lose as a defense. And offensively, he made a few mistakes. And that whole handoff, I know everyone points to Josh Allen, but it wasn't a clean handoff. It could be partially the center. The center might have started to let the ball go as it got closer to Josh Allen's hand. That's why it wasn't a clean exchange. Maybe the center kind of pulled a little bit sooner than intended. Those type of things happen. That's why we play football. So for Josh Allen, I don't think he's cocky. I don't think he's overconfident. Yes, he's confident in his abilities. That's why you see him running the ball through people. But I don't think it's bad coaching. I really think it's just, hey, nobody's perfect. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Look at Tom Brady. Look at all these top-notch quarterbacks that we say, oh, these guys are like godly in the NFL. They make mistakes. They don't have perfect throws all the time. Same thing happens with every given starter in this league. They have great games, and we're like, holy shit, did he pull that off? Oh my! Look at Patrick Mahomes. Did you see what he did last week? You know what I mean? Everybody has bad days. Everybody has bad mistakes.
How bad you can look when you don't have a healthy offensive line. Look at how
Tackles.
Patrick Mahomes looked at that.
That's all they were missing is tackles.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, when you don't have tackles, that's what people look for. You want to find those bookend tackles, right? Patrick Mahomes is getting chased all over the place where he had to make some of those spectacular plays. But then again, bad interceptions. The thing for me with Josh Allen, I think, again, I think in the sense of what Brando's talking about here is when the game is on the line, he is forcing things a little more often to where it's a head scratcher because throughout his progression, you've seen him get better in eliminating some of those mistakes, looking for the better read, taking off with his legs, making plays on his legs, and not forcing the ball in there. And when it comes down to crunch time on some of these situational games that are tight, you see him making those errant throws, things that he maybe shouldn't have done, should have maybe took off, or just lived to fight another day instead of trying to make it all happen in a play and whatnot. And, that's just the way the game is, though, too. Like you said, it plays out that way. If they're pressuring him at that particular point, it is what it is. And I know media is going to try and paint it up like they have been.
Right.
He's just not a pressure guy. When game's close, he's a choker.
I disagree.
It's it. And I think it's situational again. But again, I have noticed, again, as of late, because you see the interceptions piling up now, when they're putting pressure on him, again, he is forcing the ball, I think, a little too much because I think he isn't confident in what he is able to do, but I think he puts too much on himself because especially you see the difference when they lose after how much he blames himself too on top of it. So I think he needs to take some of that off of his mind and say, it's not all on me. Trust my other guys. Just make the smarter plays.
I also think what part of it is, too, is knowing that he has a cannon for an arm, he thinks he can fit it into smaller areas than he probably even should attempt. So that could have been very well what happened with that interception, is that he thought he could get the ball
and got it faster
to a point.
Because
He thought he could get it to a spot faster than that DB could close on it.
I thought so too.
And then as soon as he threw it, you just saw him go, oh, shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. Eric says, I think it's confidence is down a little bit, and everyone's choosing the Bills to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning, and those expectations are difficult. And that's kind of what I talked about earlier. I think it's the same thing that Eric is talking about in a sense, too.
Here's the thing is, like, they are difficult, but there's other teams besides the Bills that people see going to the Super Bowl. Look at the Chiefs. Everyone is crowning the Chiefs as going to the Super Bowl again. Everyone thinks the Bills are going to the Super Bowl because they are the most complete teams right now. They are the more exciting teams to watch. And we've seen them blow teams out. We've also seen them have close wins, and then we've seen them just lose games in the end. So
they also lost to the Colts.
It's an uphill battle.
Didn't the Chiefs lose to the Colts at one point this season too? So I mean, we've seen this throughout the season, the way it's been, and you never know any week. It's all about preparation for that particular team,
game planning,
and how you get it done
and executing. That's it.
I mean, I don't think even at the beginning of this season, people really picked the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl because, again, they wanted to see what's going to look like without Tyreek Hill.
Some people did.
I don't know. They're going to take a step down because they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. Blah, blah, blah. This and that. And they've been able to get it done.
You know what the crazy thing about that minus Tyreek Hill out of the equation for the Chiefs is it actually made Mahomes a better quarterback. Because now he's not tunnel vision on just Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce. Now he is forced to spread the ball to guys like Juju, newly acquired, MVS, and other guys like Mecole Hardman and stuff. Now you're seeing him spread the ball more often. It's making him a more complete
Juju's
quarterback.
More involved now. You're seeing that he's
that's what I said.
Yeah. Brando says that rookie receiver for the Packers. That man, what a game he had with the 3 TDs. It's insane. Rookie class looking really good. Even with Olave and Sauce locking up on the Jets. Right now some of these guys are. And I think the thing about you take away from that Packers game against the Cowboys is the run game. One thing against the Cowboys will say is that now you know how to beat the Cowboys, just get that run game going. So maybe for the Giants fans and us, we really need to try and get Saquon Barkley going next time we see them to be able to beat them because they can't stop the run. How do you stop those pass rushers like Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, things like that? Run the football on them and pound it. And the good thing that the Packers did is they were able to get A.J. Dillon more involved. He has been non-existent this whole season, just about. Aaron Jones has been able to get his chunk yards, no doubt. He's been able to do it. But every time it came to A.J. Dillon, he wasn't able to pound it out and really beat those guys and get that ball moving when it was called on his number. In this game, they really did that. And that helped out the offense for Aaron Rodgers and including having Bakhtiari healthy again, getting a little more security there, a bigger pocket, and a little more time. He had a lot more time to throw in this game, and I think it was because of that strong running game, alleviate the pressure, which opened it up for Watson to get it done. And he's actually catching the ball when the ball is getting there. So.
Well, with A.J. Dillon, though, it was more about performance. Like, he just haven't been performing. It's been on him.
Exactly. That's what
So
I'm saying.
it was gut check time. I feel like, there was a conversation had behind closed doors with A.J. Dunbar. Like, hey, listen, dude, if you're not going to get the job done, we're going to put someone else in there. So keep your spot. Earn it. You know what I mean? So, and that's where you kind of see him turn the lights on, and he started to go for it. Thing with Aaron Jones, too, is like, that's how you beat a good pass rush, though, is by running the football. David Bakhtiari so far has been pretty healthy this year after he's initially came back from injury, and it's been paying off. The only other thing, too, is, like, when are they going to be able to get Elton Jenkins completely healthy to help on that other side? We'll have to wait and see, but if they can manage to get a healthy O-line in front of Aaron Rodgers, I'm not saying Green Bay could turn things around quickly, but I'm saying that maybe they might be able to figure some things out. And for Christian Watson, like Brandon mentioned, had a phenomenal game, had 3 touchdowns. And this is a guy that struggled this offseason to even get to be a starter. He couldn't even crack the starting lineup. This is a guy that struggled big time. I don't know if it was because of the playbook. I don't know if it was actually, we do know that he had his fair share of drops in the offseason in training camp and what have you, which kind of dropped him in the depth chart. But for the Packers right now, they got to utilize what's working. You have 2 really good running backs, utilize them, and that's going to open up your passing lanes like we just saw against the Cowboys. Because the Cowboys started to become so concerned with the running game that they kind of just, who's that? Oh, where'd Watson come from? And he's by himself on a post. Easy touchdown. Like Christian Watson, maybe he's starting to come into his own now. I know it's kind of middle of the season, but hey, now is as good as time as any. So hopefully Watson can continue his playmaking ability this week.
Absolutely. You talk about now as good as time as any. I'm going to tell you guys about my friends at Paul Perry Kitchens. Now is a better time than any because right now they're all at one location. They're at 115 Freeman's Bridge Road. They are doing construction at the other location. Usually they have 2 on Freeman's Bridge, but they're all there in one spot. So now you can get your custom closets, your custom kitchen, your glass for your showers, everything else all set there. Screen repair too if you're still doing that, or even you want to plan for the future for the upcoming spring. Paul Perry Kitchens. Check them out. Go there in Freeman's Bridge Road and talk to a designer. They can customize your closet, like I said, your kitchen, whatever you want to put you into the dream home situation that you want to be in. Check them out, paulperrykitchens.com, or check them out there. Joe, another, just to finish up, I think, with these quarterback situations here, we know the situation has been dire for your team and the Vegas Raiders here.
I don't want to talk about
it. But Indianapolis Colts, just to touch on that game real quick again. You see Derek Carr, he's emotionally tied to this team. So many players you don't see that bleed the color of the team.
Uniform,
they're not there. And for a guy that, and a lot of people want to say, they haven't been able to win because he's been the one consistent guy there that's been there. How many coaches has he gone through? How many different offenses has been able to go through? Right. In different players here and there, and then the defense is never getting fixed. No. You know what I'm saying? Having issues, going through multiple defensive coordinators. But then on the other side, you've got the Indianapolis Colts here, and Jeff Saturday, instantly, he's in. Hey, Matt Ryan's, he's healthy enough. He's going to start now.
He made that call real quick.
Right?
Yeah.
And then it instantly makes him a winner just like that, too. So what was going on with that Frank Reich situation? You knew there was problems there. And Matt Ryan, again, must not have been as banged up as a lot of people try to make it out as or whatever. So, and he's got to be still clearly the better choice than putting Sam Ehlinger in there.
Well, Matt Ryan was healthy before we even got to this game. So probably a week ago, he was deemed healthy. And they Frank Reich, before his firing, was still going to ride with Sam Ehlinger. So I wonder what was going on before that. Like, was there a rift between Matt Ryan and Frank, and like maybe the same thing that Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers are going through right now? Is maybe there was a rift between play calling and execution and what have you. I don't know, because they seemed to look better last week. But to be fair, they did play the worst defense in the league. So let's take that like a grain of salt, all right? That victory was just because the Vegas Raiders are that bad on defense. Despite the new additions, Chandler Jones, Bilal Nichols, those type of guys. And then the secondary that they added to. They still don't have Nate Hobbs, so they're still struggling. They're trying to figure things out and just can't get it done. That's why I kind of blame coaching at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's a rift between Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels. And that's what it seems like right now. But because we're on the outside looking in, we're just kind of guessing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But when Derek Carr comes to the podium, and he's basically calling out players in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you don't do this in public.
Mm-hmm.
And we already know from a week ago, Carr at his last presser a week ago was saying, I would like to voice my opinion right now, but I won't because I'm going to save that I'm going to see the people involved face to face. So he did that. Come to this week, obviously it didn't work. So now he went to the presser. For the first time, I've never seen Derek Carr ever since he's been drafted. I've never seen him get to a presser and not wear Raider gear. This was the first time ever. He was wearing Fresno State, his college, at the presser. Very emotional, very upset about the lack of passion from some of these players, the lack of dedication. And some of these players, Devontae Adams has also expressed it, not in a presser, but has expressed it in the locker room in interviews and saying, hey, until guys all get on the same page and all are going to do the necessary things to win, this is where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you see the emotion, the raw emotion that Derek Carr has, because just like you said, there's not many players that are like ride and die type of players with that team that they currently are on.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr's the exception. He not only wanted to be a Raider, but then when he got drafted, it was like a dream come true for him. And he doesn't want to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to win a championship for the Raiders, and he wants it so badly that you just see the absolute frustration and anger that he has. It's just spilling out.
Right. And then people are quick to paint the narrative again about him and McDaniels not getting along, and it's McDaniels again just can't be a head coach around the NFL and this and that.
People are questioning his play calling.
Yeah,
how can you not?
Yeah, I hear you there too. On top of it, but again, it seems like Derek Carr stood behind him, said we get along and this, and I believe in what he's doing. The relationship is good. But like you said, some people saw it differently, what his presser meant and his answer. Mm-hmm. I saw it kind of the way you did too, because he instantly just called people out, said, dude, I've tried. Been down, and some of us put so much work into us to even try just to sleep at night with the preparation that we're trying to get into his game, and other people are coming to work when they're not doing what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that I do more than you, but you guys aren't doing enough. And I'm trying to tell you to do it, and you're not doing it, man. And that's the only way we're going to win.
There's a comment that he made that kind of, I was like, whoa, that's pretty serious. He's like, we're putting stuff in our bodies just so we can play on Sundays.
Yeah.
So it's like that comment right there, that's serious. That's saying like not everybody in the locker room, but some of us guys are doing anything and everything it takes just to step foot on that football field to try to win games.
Right.
And we are struggling to do our best because nobody else wants to pick up the rest of the load here. Mm-hmm. No, I'm so curious to know what players exactly you're never going to know this.
No.
But like what players are not that committed now. Yeah. Because you can only hope that maybe if those players that aren't not committed are not going to be around next season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's what we'll end up knowing, after the fact.
I will say this, though, real quick.
Sure.
Is that because there's just been this debate now, is Josh McDaniels out after this year? Is Derek Carr out after this year? Mm-hmm. We'll know the answer if McDaniels is good with Carr and Carr stays, it's the right decision. If they do decide to move on from Carr after this year, the Raiders are in for a reckoning. Mm-hmm. And you got to now at that point, if that is allowed to happen, now you got to start to blame ownership. Now you got to start to blame Mark Davis.
Yeah, because you're even hearing, too, they're moving on from Josh Jacobs and stuff like that, too, possibly. So
I know.
If you end up doing that, I mean,
that's not
then
happening.
You're looking at a restart
that's
altogether, though.
Because Josh McDaniels said this about Josh Jacobs. He's the best running back he's ever coached in his career.
Oh yeah,
that's a big statement.
Coming from New England though too, where he
but
hasn't
that's a big
had a whole
statement.
lot of great
no,
ones.
they've had a lot. They've had Corey Dillon before in his prime. They've had a ton of really good running backs, and for him to say that's pretty serious.
Mm-hmm. Here, also Deion Lewis, our buddy there, has been there. So, but
He was pretty good too, right?
he was pretty good. That was cool to hold the Super Bowl ring, man. That thing is heavy. Holy
It's
crap,
big.
that's heavier than I thought, and it is big.
I thought it was going to be as heavy as I thought it was.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be as big.
Big. Yeah,
That-
that's
that to
what makes
me
me
was-
think now with Tom Brady to
it's
hold that on
humongous.
there. I'm surprised he doesn't have like a Thanos glove to hold those things onto there. You know what I mean? Because it's heavy. Like you've really got to really have that thing on there.
He's going to need another glove.
Yeah, I know. Maybe not right now. Who knows? But everybody, it's funny the thing where they're tracking Tom Brady, they're tracking him. He's 2-0 now since he's been divorced now. So everybody's going to use that as a.
Here we go. Come on.
As a breaking
boy.
point here from this on forward. You know that this is his record now. So that must have been it.
Boy.
But
Yeah.
Joe,
Let me tell you a little bit about our boys at Mohawk Honda.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Listen, this sponsor right here, let me tell you, they are something special. Mohawk is the shit. That's all I gotta say. You'll be greeted with a smile and a tickle in your pants when you arrive right there down in Scotia. The new vehicle inventory is warming and ramping up here with pilots, passports, and ridgelines heading right into the lot. Remember, this is the best time ever to sell your vehicle. It's just another advantage you get from the #1 volume dealer in the capital region. General Manager Greg Johnson, that's right, our man Greg down there, and his team of sales consultants are always available to help you with the buying process or any questions that you might have. Yes, the seasons are changing, but at Mohawk Honda on Freeman's Bridge Road in Scotia, they always go out of their way to please you.
Absolutely, they absolutely do. Right now, they're taking donations too for the food pantry. So go down to Mohawk Honda, donate some food for you guys, some canned items, stuff, and check out a car too while you're there. Walk out with a sweet ride too. Absolutely. So we love Mohawk Honda. They're always doing out of their way to please us and take care of us too. We appreciate it. So Joe, we're going to get into our picks, but right before that, I just want to tell you guys too about our friends at Colorize too, who help sponsor the show and get us to where we need to get to, and be able to do our live shows and stuff, which we have another one lined up. We'll tell you guys about pretty shortly. But Colorize, they've got a new location that is now open in Troy / North Greenbush, if you want to consider it there, right there on Route 4. So they're all ready there to go. My man Brett is working there now, so now you get to meet Brett in person. If you guys are out here in the East
right.
Greenbush, North Greenbush, so you
Let's
say,
go,
hey,
Brett.
Jimmy told me all about you. You're the man. He loves you. Plus, also co-owner Mike is there, so go say hi. Tell him Jimmy and Joe sent you from Football on the No Show. And also, you got the other locations there, Queensbury, Clifton Park,
There's a
and
lot of
Niskayuna too as well. They're just building. They're building their family just like we are building our family all together here at Football on the No too. They are know-it-alls on top of it. So check them out, mycolorize.com, or go to one of their locations. Talk to those guys. They have been in the paint experience for years. They will lead you to wherever you need to go, not just Benjamin
right.
Moore stuff, but anything paint related, finish related. They got you covered. Mycolorize.com, or check out their locations.
Yeah, they're definitely going to help you out. And you talk about growing. Like, listen, we're trying to grow our own damn football community here. Hey, everybody in the chat, everybody that's checking us out, do us a huge favor. Whether you have a friend, a family member, someone you just met on the street, if you
Tis the
know
season for
that they
giving.
like football, listen, share. This is about this. The season's around the corner where it's all about sharing, caring, right?
Hashtag know it all.
Have them head over to YouTube for us. Search us up, Football on the No Show. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. And also, you can also become a member, become a know-it-all on Facebook. And it doesn't stop there. You can take us with you if you like. Anywhere you get your podcast, Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we're there. Hit the follow button. Follow along in our journey here. And, yeah, let's have at it.
All right, talk about having at it. Let's have at the picks, Joe. We got the pick segment coming up now. The competition is tight. As you can see, we've got the glasses here, the mugs, the football-shaped mugs, where it's all on the line. Loser has to drink that at the end of the season. That show is a lot of fun, and everybody knows that's been following us for so long. It is a hell of a lot of fun when it gets down to that point. But here's the situation here.
boy.
We are tied up, Joe. It was a
boy.
bad week for us again last week. It was so tight. Some of these games came down to a nail-biter last minute, too. I thought I had you at the Bears game, but Detroit ended up getting it right at the end there. That
right
dumb
at the
pick
end.
by Fields and stuff, too. Like, oh, damn it. Thought I could get another one up on you.
And it's
but we're
funny
here.
because that game, the Detroit Lions are not known for their defense. Like, they've been playing really well, don't get me wrong, but they are seen as one of those weaker defenses that you can take advantage of. And when Chicago was up towards the end of the game, I was like, yeah, well, that's it.
They've got it. You thought it was. It was it.
Yep.
And then they fought back, and that's
All
the
I
one
gotta
thing you say about that team.
is
They're
that
fighters.
despite the last couple of bad weeks for picks, We are above 80 wins now.
Yeah, we're there. We're above 80 wins still, so we're
I don't
still.
know.
bad, though.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but last year were we above 100 at this point yet?
I don't know. We
were close,
Probably
though.
close though. We definitely had a lot more.
'Cause we were
10,
killing
11,
it last
12,
year.
13 wins weeks, but yeah, absolutely. So here we go. We got Thursday night football here. Green Bay Packers and the Tennessee Titans here. Joe, Green Bay comes out with their first win in a long time here against the Dallas Cowboys. A hard-fought game here. But now they are going to play here at home again against the Tennessee Titans, who have been rolling. They've been playing their game, doing their thing. That defense has been stepping up, that defensive front line for them. But more of a run-first type of team. So this is going to be a tougher game for the Packers to pull out, I think, than what it was for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Maybe they got something rolling. If they're able to establish the run like they did last week, I think they can come out of here with a win.
I think they might struggle a little bit this week. Something tells me, like, if Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari are both questionable as of today, if they're not deemed, listen, they got to play tomorrow. So if they are not up to par, again, we talk about the struggles with the O-line and not having their guys, their healthy starters out there. Elton Jenkins and David Bakhtiari right now are, in jeopardy of not making tomorrow night's game. If that's the case, I don't think they're going to be doing much running. In fact, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be doing a lot more running than his running backs away from defense. But Romeo Doubs is now deemed as out for tomorrow night's game, and we know he suffered an injury last week. Look for Christian Watson is going to have to take a step up, even bigger. And Randall Cobb has been seen at the practice facility. He's seen that he's starting to warm up, starting to get – I don't know if he's going to be eligible or not to play, but that's something that you got to wait and see. But Tennessee Titans, they've been kind of on an upturn right now lately. Their defense has been playing better. Their offense is starting to get on cue. Ryan Tannehill looks like he's going to come back this week and be the starter for them. So we'll see if they can get back on track with Ryan at the helm. So for Tennessee coming into Green Bay, I'm going to go with Tennessee on this one because I do not trust the offensive line play for Green Bay. If both those men are out, we don't know for sure yet, but I don't know. I'm not going to take a risk on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough game for me. Again, I'd like to go in and say maybe Green Bay is starting to fix their situation that they got here. They did play a tough Dallas team. They were able to kind of stuff the run a little bit there against Dallas. So will they be able to do this against the Tennessee Titans?
On a short
It's
week.
going to be tough on a short week, yeah. But again, Dobbs being injured too. I think I'm going to lean on the side of Tennessee here too, just because. But, at this point, though, too, I'm really feeling that they're due for that loss, though, too. So this could be it. But we'll see.
And just before we move on from this game, real quick, for Tennessee, Jeffrey Simmons is in jeopardy of not playing tomorrow night's
that's
game,
big for them.
which is a huge loss. Also, another huge loss, who's already deemed as out, Bud Dupree will not be playing as well. Elijah Molden, the defensive back, he's questionable right now. And then their kicker, Randy Bullock, is out.
Joe.
Yes.
We have a special guest, I guess, with us tonight.
What's up?
We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, man. The force is strong with this
Holy
one.
moly, Obi-Wan Kenobi is here with us. Yeah, so you said
That's
hello
impressive.
there.
We got a
hello,
celebrity.
Obi-Wan. Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, Obi-Wan.
Man, that's awesome. Hey, pleasure.
like it.
Welcome to the show. Absolutely. We're doing some picks here. Join in with the fun here. Next, we just did Thursday night's game. We've got Chicago Bears and the Atlanta Falcons now. Chicago, again, they had that game and then just were able to allow the Detroit Lions back into that game here again, but they've looked kind of better here. It's funny, just as they bank in their defense and start to sell, their offense finally gets it clicking. It's kind of a weird thing for them, and they're moving. But Atlanta, again, now there's almost some head scratching here to where even now some of the fans are out there say, do we pull the trigger and go to Desmond Ridder now? Do we do that? It's like, so I don't know, because this team is weird like that, because you're winning with Mariota. You had some tough, but you weren't expected to be here, but I think you keep rolling with it until you're definitely out of it, because you're trying to see where you're at.
Yeah, right.
If you're already on your way out, then you kind of see an early look of what you have and moving into the next season. So then you already know going into the offseason that you're working with Ridder throughout the offseason to get him prepared to start next season.
Right, and this is the thing is Marcus Mariota hasn't been doing a bad job there. Like, he's actually been running this offense pretty well. I mean, yeah, of course, he's making some mistakes, but that was to be expected. But I got to say, like, I'm actually impressed with how well he's playing as the starter for this team. I also question, though, the Falcons' offensive play calling sometimes with Arthur Smith. I noticed, like, last week, things weren't going so well because he was trying to do too much as a play caller and making play calls that just weren't making sense for the situation they were in. So hopefully that kind of gets straightened out this week. But I got to say, Marcus Mariota, I like what I've seen from him. Drake London kind of disappeared for a while for that offense, but now we saw he got a couple catches in last week. Hopefully that kind of jumps up a little bit more this week. And Kyle Pitts, you know, these guys are dynamic players. They need to be utilized in this offense a little bit more to help out the team and score points. Defensively, kind of a pleasant surprise. I'm not going to lie. Atlanta's been playing way better than I anticipated them, and rightfully so. And listen, they are in the hunt for the division still.
Yeah.
Like, they are not out of the realm of making a push because nobody wants the division, apparently.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay is struggling. Carolina's struggling. You know, Atlanta's right there, you know. So we'll see what happens with that. Chicago, on the other hand, they're up and down like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from them. And it almost looked like when they started to have their fire sale a couple weeks ago, they traded Robert Quinn. You know what I mean? And they get rid of Roquan Smith, their linebacker. And it's like, okay, well, if they're unloading pieces, does that mean they're sending in the season?
Yeah.
Like they're done? So that was kind of, you know, big-time question marks right there. And then now that you've made your defense weaker, your offense still is like spitting and sputtering. You're not really doing much to sell me on winning many games. So Chicago, I like Justin Fields. I do like him. I just think they still need to build a little bit more around him. But Chicago, this is not your season right now. Atlanta, I like what I see from them. I think they're going to do enough to get it done. They are at home as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons again, too, just because, again, they have that grit. They're still kind of in it. Chicago, they're up and down, like you said. They were in some of these games, I think, where we're getting kind of messed up in this whole thing is we're reacting to what they're trending and doing, what they're doing. Instead of breaking it back down to when we looked at them at the beginning of the season, we didn't look for them to accomplish much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Chicago, the way we're looking at it. So maybe in reality, it is kind of what we already kind of thought it was. But Atlanta, they definitely are playing harder. It's still a tight division of where it is. I would say minus the Saints, unless now they are turning it around. But it looks like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they've kind of found the mix. They're trying to get that running game going, especially with that younger guy, White, that they've got now, you know, to get him in there at the goal line and pound in some points there for them to alleviate some of that pressure off of, even though you got the weapons, you got Tom Brady, but he is older, and you could see on some of those throws, he's just not getting it there at some points. So I think Atlanta, they're going to still fight at this one. They are home. I like them, too, at this one. We've got some other guys in here. I'm just going to this could be a bot or whatever, but they say in Trump 2024. I'm just going to just play this just to make it fun.
Unlike most politicians.
Just to roll with it.
That what I said was fucking stupid.
There you go.
What's
there you go.
the
Trump
name? What's the
2024.
name?
Praise Monarch. So I'm
Praise
not sure, but
Monarch.
welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure, but thank you. You know, if you are spam
Hey.
or whatever,
Yeah.
it is. But we
Listen.
welcome that. If you're not, hey, why not? You know,
Yeah.
show it out there. Sure.
Obi-Wan and Praise, if you could.
But he's not in the picks this week.
Like, I'm just curious, you know, are you guys football fans or girls? Or are you football fans? You know what I mean? If you are, drop the comment down below. What team do you guys support out there?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next, we got the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills. One thing we didn't touch on is the fact that Deshaun Watson's now practicing with the team. You know, he has been able to go to the facilities and be part of the meetings and stuff like that,
Right.
but now actively practicing because his starting date is going to be soon. There you go. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a Raiders fan, Joe.
Hey, all
How about
right.
that?
Obi-Wan.
How about the irony of that and the fact that he is a Raiders fan, but
Yes.
then the
Also-
symbol a lot of times with the Raiders is
Is it?
Darth Vader. So then you've got the Darth Vader helmets. You know, they're the Raiders games, but there's Obi-Wan sneakily hanging out
Yeah.
and being a Raider fan. But that's awesome. Raiders fan just like Joe. There you go. So fit right up.
Welcome
right in
aboard,
with the family.
Obi-Wan.
Welcome aboard.
Do us a favor. Make sure you hit that subscribe button
Yeah,
and hit that
absolutely.
notification bell. Let you guys know when we go live. and you can tune in next week.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Cleveland Browns, we've got the Buffalo Bills. Again, under Jacoby Brissett, they've just been running the game. Nick Chubb, running on all cylinders, getting done here. But Buffalo, they've got to turn the corner here. They are playing at home, and it's so hard to play against Buffalo here at home. I think this is a good game where they can turn it around here. I like the Buffalo Bills with this one.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills right now currently sit 6-3. They are tied for second with the Jets at 6-3,
Is that
and the
funny?
Dolphins are
Right?
7-3. Everybody,
Quickly
wake
it
up!
happens.
You know, tables are turning right now. Patriots are last place right now by themselves, 5-4. So, yeah, Obi-Wan just commenting down below. He goes, "Is Deshaun Watson back yet?" Yes, he's back, but not the
Not
way
to
you
play.
think. He is back at practice. He's eligible to practice with the team, but he cannot play until week 13. So he is practicing. He'll be back He'll be there for the week 13 game. He'll be ready to go.
Oh, he'll be ready to go. So he's just preparation with the team and actually
Oh,
practicing.
so
So that's good.
let me get back to the picks
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So going back to Buffalo, Buffalo's home. Listen, this is kind of where they thrive. You know, they feed off the energy of the crowd, and they are some crazy ass fans out there,
Yeah.
jumping through tables and things like that. I know a
We talked to
Vikings
Lady
fan.
Bills about some of that stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Drinking out of what the hell was it? Not even a bowling ball, but some of the weird shit.
Like
that
a
they
shoe
drink
or
out of.
something?
Yeah, it was
Like a
just got the
boot?
boot or something. Oh, gross.
But listen,
Man.
a Vikings fan, when it was Bills versus Vikings,
Yeah.
there was a Vikings fan that attempted to jump through a table and miserably failed. He
Failed.
literally, he went on it and slid right off. This is terrible.
Watch, they pulled out one that doesn't have the slit in it, so it breaks easier. Whatever. So they're like, yeah, we got one for you, buddy. Like they store one just in case for guys like
Yeah,
that. Like, yeah,
right.
I'm gonna involve you guys.
You're
and
not a Bills
splat.
fan.
Oh man, but yeah.
But anyway,
yeah, those Bills fans, they're tough.
Bills-
He
Bills and the
says bounce
Browns,
back game
yeah.
for the Bills.
Yeah,
Obi-Wan.
I like the pick because that's kind of where I'm going. Cleveland, listen. Cleveland Browns, they're not going to be much better until they get Watson back in that quarterback spot. So I think that the Browns, even though they've kind of kept it somewhat afloat, with Jacoby Brissett, I don't think it's going to be enough. Buffalo Bills are definitely going to be very pissed off at home. They are going to get the win.
Nothing is impossible.
There we go. We've got the Philadelphia Eagles and the Indianapolis Colts here, Joe. Philadelphia suffers their first loss in a tough divisional game. So here you go. How do they respond now? You're talking about teams responding from a loss. They suffer their first loss, but they've been in a lot of close games with a lot of teams
True.
that aren't really great right now, too.
True.
So that's why I think Philadelphia has always kind of been looked at this season as, even though they're undefeated, are they really that good, though? I mean, you see the weapons that they do have, so you look at them and say, on paper, they should be pretty good. But, in a lot of closer games than they should have been, not as close. You know what I'm saying? So they have to face off against a team where the Colts, it looks like they just flipped a switch. They weren't be able to run the ball effectively, but then last week they were. They were going to check out on the whole season here with Frank Reich and just put Sam Ellinger in. Now they put Matt Ryan instantly back in, and Jeff Saturday says, this guy gives us the best opportunity to win. I want to win. I'm the new head coach there. Let's do it. And they do it. So they're able to run the ball effectively, able to get Matt Ryan in there and win. What the hell? So I don't know what to expect here with the Colts here at home. Who knows what type of team, but I think they're saying that Leonard is not going to be playing too.
He's done for the year.
He's done for the year. So I think that's a big issue for them. So I think in Philadelphia Eagles against this Indianapolis Colts, where there's question marks all over the place here, including coaching, I'm going to roll with the Philadelphia Eagles on this one.
Yeah, this one's not that hard to pick. Despite the injury to Shaq Leonard, going to be out for the year. However, their D-line is looking pretty rough right now. As of today, DeForest Buckner did not practice. Kwity Paye did not practice. You know what I mean? So their D-line, Yannick Ngakoue didn't practice. So three of their four starters at D-line did not practice. If that trend continues and they miss this week, they're going to be playing with all backups this week. So that's not looking too good for the Colts. But other than that, listen, they won against the Raiders last week. Their defense is one of the worst in the league. So it was kind of like an easy game for them. I like Obi-Wan's comment here. It says, the force is strong with Jeff Saturday. He goes Colts in an upset, 35-32 against Philly. I can't get on board with that, bro. I'm going to go with the Eagles.
My son.
Eagles, listen, the Eagles, okay, they got beat last week, right?
Yeah.
So you know that they're going to want to make a statement. And when you're going up against a team that's really not roster-wise, I know we play the games for a reason, but roster-wise, they do not look up to snuff to play against this Philadelphia team. They are coming for their heads.
Yeah. Especially with the offense to be able to put up points like that against this Philly defense.
Yep.
It's very, You look at the wide receivers paired up against Darius Slay and Bradbury, things like that. It's going to be tough.
And real quick, a couple of new things that happened with the Eagles this week is they have signed D-tackle Linval Joseph, who's going to come in rotation for this D-line to bolster that. But they do lose their tight end Dallas Goedert for the next 4 weeks at least, so they will be without their tight end.
All right, next we got the Jets and the New England Patriots here. Patriots had some rest time. The Jets are fired up, ready to go.
Here we
Last time
go.
New England barely edged out this game here. They kept picking off Wilson in the last game. That was
Right.
our last live show there at Restaurant 605. Every time I looked over, the Patriots had picked them off. So, I mean, it's close, but this is a different mindset. After that game, it seemed like a light switch went off in this team. So they're very hungry, very, getting crazier on the offense here. Able to run the ball despite even having Breece Hall injured and out. Being able to get James Robinson in there, but then also Michael Carter getting his money's worth out of there, too. A different team, different mindset. They're still keeping those receipts. But they are going into New England, and New England really fights hard here at home.
They definitely do.
You know, so it's going to be tough to go in there and win. I think question marks have been settled here, though, about the quarterback situation for them over there still, even though we had a little bit of that mania going on with the quarterbacks. I like the New England Patriots here at home against the Jets, though, just because I think the Patriots still have the Jets number on this one.
Jim, guess what?
What's up?
We have a Gaz.
We have a Gaz in the house tonight.
Gaz is in the
man.
house.
I got to get up his roar here.
What's going on, Gaz? Welcome to the show. He says a Gaz prediction.
Ooh.
Bills, Browns, weather, Ravens, Panthers, poop in their pants will be the 2 lowest scoring games of Week 11. You heard it here first.
There you go.
Our very own Gaz from Godzilla Media has chimed in.
Poop in their pants.
That's right. He's
Two
saying
lowest
those
scoring
two games. And those 2 games are going to be the lowest scoring games of Week 11 due to weather. He says due to weather.
Maybe because
and
of
then
because
Ravens, Panthers.
I don't know.
He might be right about this. He may be
Yeah,
because you got the weather conditions in Buffalo, which is going to be crazy. All whiteouts, and then the Ravens, Panthers. Typically, when these 2 teams get together, because they don't face each other that often. They kind of go through a feeling out process, and I feel like both defenses are good where they could both keep this game really low scoring.
Again, even with the injuries too, on top of what's going on with the Ravens offense, the injuries that they've been having too. Who knows? We're going to see a big, probably ground and pound games. A lot of running going on in these games, so this could be interesting. And look at what Deonta Foreman's been able to do for the Panthers. A guy who has kind of been that fill-in guy back when he was with the Titans here behind Derrick Henry and stuff like that. And we saw Chuba Hubbard last season, too, behind Christian McCaffrey and said, hey, he's got to be the next guy up, right? So this year, now Christian McCaffrey not. No, we've got Deonta Foreman here, right here, that's going to jump leapfrog right in front of him. We're like, oh, shit. Yeah, some of those fantasy owners that thought they were smart getting Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Ah, shit. There you go. You're done in that one. But yeah, maybe we're going to see a strong running game. This could play into, one, the Browns type of game, and the Ravens. So who knows? Let's see if that comes out to be beneficial for those 2 teams.
Right.
All right, next we've got the, he says, you didn't offer your take on the poop factor. My kid is potty training poop. It's a little rough battle. Potty training is tough, though. Let me tell you, again, 3 kids to get it done. It's
brutal.
And it's amazing the difference between children and how some are effectively able to do it better than others. You know what I'm saying? Some are easy to train. Some you got to get them there. You know
That's right.
what I mean?
We're all different.
But I don't think either of them are pooping in their pants because we've actually shown, and this is known, it's been on national television that to retract my comments. Yeah, maybe I did. But Lamar Jackson has actually taken himself out of a game to go poop in the locker room to where he had to hurry up and get his clothes back on to zip back up to get back into the game because of injury to get back in the game and win the game after his potty. And his poop that he had done
that
in
was
the game.
when Trace McSorley came in and was actually
so
doing
poop
well.
We just did like what is that, the 7 degrees of separation or whatever with poop lined in games and the Ravens. So imagine that, Joe. We did it. All right. So next,
We did it.
You want to talk about poop? line up into this next game we're going to go after, and that is the Rams and the Saints.
Whoa. Did we pick already?
Did you pick the Patriots or the Jets? I picked the Patriots already.
You picked the Patriots. All right, I'm going to go with the Jets.
All right, he's going with
on
the
this
Jets.
one.
All right, so next we've got the Rams, and he had to
I
lighten
didn't
up
even
a
get to
bit.
do my analysis.
Winning,
This is unbelievable.
to lighten up a little bit, winning strat. I don't even know what that means, but sure. All right, the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints. Joe, again, Jameis Winston coming back for the team. The Rams,
boy.
again, they're unsure about because he didn't practice. I don't think Matthew Stafford didn't practice again. So
No, he's back.
Is he? Is he going
Yeah.
to be back?
He's
But
back.
still, that team is just putrid. No offensive line. I had hoped with that defense, the way they were playing, would help get that win last week against
Mm-hmm.
Colt McCoy. Of anything. See, this is what I mean about
McCoy.
the quarterbacks this year. We're seeing a plethora of quarterbacks that you wouldn't even thought would even see the field this year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all over the map. That nobody knows what's going on in the NFL, and that's why I think we're seeing strong running games out of some of these offenses. But the Saints at home, it's going to be tough. But do I go with the Saints because the Rams are that putrid? They don't have Cooper Kupp though, too, right? They've relied
Nope.
on him a lot.
He's
I'm going
on
to go with
IR.
the Saints on this one. Yeah, I'm going with the Saints on this. Let's roll with it.
Cooper Kupp is on IR, everybody,
Yep.
and it's a sad day in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Stafford,
Nothing can save them now.
Stafford comes back.
Not even Obi-Wan Kenobi out there.
Stafford comes back from injury to come into this game, and he's like, "What'd you guys do to Cooper?
Yeah.
Where's my Cooper?" Well, he's not going to be around, and that's very unfortunate for a Rams offense that has been struggling, a defense that can't figure out their own identity on the football field. The New Orleans Saints are getting back. They've already made the quarterback switch to Winston. They're getting back Jarvis Landry. It looks like they are turning the corner to get back healthy. And that's a dangerous thing for opponents, especially with the Rams. We know that the Saints have been struggling. They are 3-7 at the moment. And the Rams, yep, same deal. They're about 3-6 right now. So I think because the Saints are getting a little bit healthier, they're at home. I feel like they're gonna beat the Rams, and the Rams are gonna be 3-6.
Yes, my master.
Yes, there you go.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
This
That's-
NFL is nuts this
It is.
season. That's
it
all
is,
I know.
It is. Now we got the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants. Giants coming off of bye week, right? Yeah, they did, right?
Yes,
no,
sir.
they played last week, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
play.
right. Because the bye week was before that. That's right. I
Don't worry
forgot.
about the bye
Forgot,
week.
'cause
They're playing.
Yeah,
Let's
they
move on.
had that miracle play with Darius Slayton. By the way, update: Darius Slayton had to catch everybody, and not only a catch, he broke a tackle.
Yes.
and then
And ran all the way.
and ran all the way for a touchdown. So he had multiple things that he hasn't done in multiple seasons. So it's tough.
In one game.
So yeah, it was an amazing thing, the feat that we saw last week. But we got the Giants here at home. Detroit, they look tough. They're a tough team that are gritty in games a lot. I was surprised that they were able to pull out a win last week. But the Giants, I think, and it's funny to say this, but I think overall they're in a better place right now, better situation than what the Lions are. I know that they have a strong running game that they can rely on again because this Detroit defense is not very good still. You know, I really trust in what the Giants defense have been able to do. I think if you were able to blitz Jared Goff, you can get him off his game easy, and they can just get the game done here. So I like the New York Giants in this one. I picked the Giants to win last week, and they won. So that's something different, too.
See,
that
so
happened
your
for me,
whole
Joe.
theory went
so
to
the curse
crap.
is gone. Yeah, since the Dallas Cowboys are the 605 curse, it has been broken. It has been broken. By the way,
Oh,
we've got
hey.
Jorah Mormont. Is that his name? I'm
There
sorry.
you
I
go,
can't-
Jorah.
Jorah in the house. Skull. He says, is that the Vikings fan you were talking about?
AKA John.
Oh, John. There we go. Skull. There you go. He's got a Vikings fan. So
He's
we
a
have
Vikings fan,
A
yeah.
lot of different fans in here on
I
the
like
chat
it.
tonight. I
I
it.
like it. We got some diversity in this.
Absolutely. So what do you got? We got the Lions here. You got the Giants here.
Listen, so you mentioned like how bad the Lions defense actually is statistically, but the last couple of weeks they've been playing great football, and that's kind of what leading to these late comeback wins and just kind of edging out teams. But they are going to New York to play the Giants, and I'm not really sure if they're going to have enough firepower against this team. Like this is a Giants team that is now 7-2. Okay. They are right on the cusp. They're a game behind the Eagles right now. Since the
Scary
Eagles
to say,
lost,
right?
they're 8-1. Giants are there 7-2. This is like back in the old days of this NFC East, where it was like always dueling out between two juggernaut teams, and they're both playing well. I think the Giants are going to continue playing well. They're not that banged up. They're pretty healthy. You got to love what they're doing on offense and defensively. They've been playing just as well as last year.
All right, so he's going with the Giants then, too. All right, excellent. All right, now we got the Carolina Panthers and the Baltimore Ravens. This is the poop game, one of the poop games that
AKA
Gaz
dropped.
brought up. The Carolina Panthers, they're a weird team, too, because they, again, were going on trading away guys. You know, Christian McCaffrey gone, you know, even things like that. And now it seems like they've kind of grouped behind P.J. Walker, you know what I mean? Where they have made trades. They have had guys. Sam Darnold has been there, but not living up to expectations, but also because of injury. Go out and get Baker Mayfield, hoping that that's the guy that's going to steer the ship right and get it done for them. Not happening for them. So then P.J. Walker, the guy who's kind of been there before for them, again, on the sidelines, kind of been that true guy to kind of step in whenever he can. Looked really great with the XFL, but since then in the NFL, not really successful. But this year, seems like they're rallying behind him. And like I said, also having Dante Foreman here, getting the running game going. They've got something here, but is it enough to convince me ever? I'm not. So it's very confusing. But the Baltimore Ravens, again, they keep running their offense, what they do, stay with the running game. It's clear to me, too, that the Lamar Jackson, again, cannot be that pocket quarterback because he still misses his targets at times. If he was able to hit that accuracy and live up to that potential, they could be something spectacular, but they are definitely good enough to beat the Carolina Panthers and enough to make it to the playoffs here for the AFC. So I like the Baltimore Ravens.
Something interesting about the Ravens right now is we all know Mark Andrews was dealing with an injury. He's limited as of today, which is a big indicator that he's going to look to start this week. Also, Gus Edwards is going to be returning. Ronnie Stanley didn't practice, but I feel like that's a rest day for him and Calais Campbell. Here's the interesting first-round pick, David Ajobo. He tore his Achilles, you know, at his pro day. Nonetheless, he's looking to return. He's about to debut this Sunday, which is going to be exciting. Along with and this is the crazy thing is, like, imagine these players back in their prime if they were together right now. Jason Pierre-Paul and Justin Houston. They have been playing. They've been balling out. Justin Houston alone, he's got like 8 sacks or something like that already in the season as a veteran. So there's some more things to watch as a Ravens fan to look out for this upcoming week. And we already seen Roquan Smith and how
being effective
a dramatic impact he makes. We all know he's one of the best tacklers, best run stoppers in the game to pair up with his coverage abilities. But, oh, my God, you talk about Deontay Foreman. I talk about Foreman who? Because this week he's going to get shut down. There's no doubt about it. And guess not only that, but Baker Mayfield is getting the start in Carolina. P.J. Walker is a little bit banged up, so he's being kept out. I don't think that spells recipe to win, even though Steve Wilkes is trying to will them there. I'm going with Baltimore.
And why is he trying to headbutt people without a helmet on? Is there something wrong with that guy? You know, it's just, I don't get it.
He's all jacked up on Mountain Dew, baby.
Maybe, I guess. All right, next we've got the Washington Commanders and the Houston Texans here. This is going to be a tough game, I think, too, because both these games are grinders. Both these teams, they really try and grind it out, get it going. I like what they've been able to do for Houston in the running game and Pearson, and also Jerry Hughes on defense. Really been effective in these games. It sucks that he plays for, you know, the Texans again because he's getting it done for them. You know, doing his best. It seems like it's all been on his shoulders and trying to get things going and be that pass rush for that defense here. And they've been tight in these games. But Washington, they're grinders too. On top of it, like I said, they've really rallied behind Taylor Heineke, getting it out to his weapons. Loves Terry McLaurin. He's getting his. And getting a good running game going too. It seems like this defense is coming along too, so just waiting to get Chase Young back for this defense to get it going. But we saw their defense be effective last week too.
Right.
So this is going to be a tough one. Again, Houston's at home. They play tough. Davis Mills is just on that cusp. Again, I see some bright spots for him, but when that pressure comes, he makes just the mistakes that you're going to make when you're just, you know, just still learning the ropes here. So I'm going to roll with Washington, I think, on this one, just because I think I'm on the Taylor Heineke hype train here. Let's get it going.
You know, in Houston, you know, the pieces that they have in place, you know,
And
you look
Brandon
at
Cooks isn't gonna be
Davis
playing
Mills is a bright piece that they have that they can build around. And we saw this season as being kind of like a rebuild year for them anyway. But they have been impressive. Despite their record, they have been impressive on how close they keep games week to week. So Houston's going to keep doing it. They're, like you mentioned, they're a grinding type of team. They're a physical team. They are going to be in this game. But Washington, with the emergence of Taylor Heineke, with the way this defense has been playing and feeding off the energy of the offense, actually putting points on the board, you can't say nothing but. And listen, they're coming off a big win over Philly. So I'm hoping that it's not a big letdown this week, going up against a Houston team that is still, thriving to try to win more games. Washington, I still think they get it done. Chase Young is coming back for this week. We know that Montez Sweat kind of got banged up in last week's game, but hopefully he can continue into this week to help support on Chase Young's side. I like Washington in this one.
All right, here we go. We've got the Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Now, Joe, we've seen
the
maybe the
cesspool
bottom
game
of the basement here. Like, this is another poop game. It probably should have just been a poop game here when Gaz was talking about that, because this game is bottom feeders, I guess, in this one, because I don't even know what to do when I look at this shit. Because the Vegas Raiders have just been underwhelming, and Denver is kind of playing to what I thought they would be, but they're really banged up too. And so these
They're just
teams,
bad.
who is going to be wanting to win this game in this one? I mean, this could be ending up in a tie here. So
I don't think it'll
but
be a
you're
tie.
not even, the way it looked like they didn't practice, but I don't think they're going to have KJ Hamler or Jerry Jeudy and things like that too for Denver. So I
They
think
look like they're not practicing.
Yeah. So who's he going to even be able to throw to at this point? So
as of today, Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler did not practice. That doesn't mean anything because it's midweek. But you got to wait and to see. Like Friday will be a really good indicator on whether they're going to play or maybe they're going to be held out. But this is the thing you got to remember is at this point in the season, if you don't have an above 500 record or 500 record, you already know that the season is pretty dismal. It's pretty much not going to happen for you this year. I don't think they would rush these guys if they're that banged up to right back into action. There's no need to. So quite possibly they might be without those two receivers this week. And for the Vegas Raiders, they're another team that's kind of been up and down with it. Nate Hobbs. We know that he's going to make a return. He's eligible to come off the IR this week, but from what the coaches have been saying, it sounds like they might err on the edge of caution and might not play him this week and follow into the following next week is when he'll play. So even though they're missing a few pieces there, the Raiders are hands down a better team than them. The last time they faced Denver, they beat them. And obviously it doesn't mean that it's going to happen again, but they're going into Denver and maybe they end up getting another win. I don't know which way to go with this game, but not for nothing is I think both teams are very bad. Both teams are not anywhere where they need to be. I'm going to go with the Raiders on this one.
all right, Joe's going with the Raiders again. I wonder what Obi-Wan thinks of this one. He's a Raiders fan, too. Let us know, Obi-Wan. What do you think on this one? Denver, again, I would usually side even when I'm not sure with the home team, but I do look at the injuries that Denver's been having, and then the coaching. I do not like the coaching.
I don't like the coaching for the Raiders.
They haven't even been able to, well, they haven't even been able to put up points, but despite that, even the Raiders, except for that blowout game, they have been able to put up points, and they've kind of squandered games. So I think if they can just do it against the Denver Broncos and hold them and finish, maybe that emotional press conference that he had, maybe somebody did hear it and maybe something different would happen here. But we'll see. I'll pick the Raiders one last time, but I'll just tell you right now, if they don't do it in this one, I'm just writing them off for the rest of the season.
But I'll tell you this much is that for the Raiders, surprisingly, they scored 20 points a game, at least, or more. So I believe it was like 2 weeks ago I checked it, and it said like the Raiders were averaging 27 a game, and they're third in the league. Yeah. So if you're putting up 27 or even if it's 20, what does that mean? Your defense isn't holding up. So until the defense gets figured out, they're not really going to win anything.
All right, next we've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Minnesota Vikings. This is going to be a close game, I think, tough, too, because, again, Dallas coming off that loss. They're probably sour about that. Minnesota been winning those close games too. They're much like the Philadelphia Eagles. Haven't really been dominating a lot of teams, but been able to win those tight, close ones. And they're feeling that underdog type of thing that the Eagles of the championship seasons kind of were. They're having the parties there, passing the chains around and the airplane flights. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Really feeling that whole thing. And like nobody's looking at us, but look at us. We're having a good time. We're a brotherhood right now. So this is going to be a tough game. They are going to be able to play here at home, so it's going to be tough there. Skull is what you said. John Ojura has been talking about here. So I would love for the Vikings to win this one, but I don't know. I maybe see the Dallas Cowboys being able to bounce back here and try and pressure Kirk Cousins into making some mistakes here. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys on this one. But if they lose, I'm a happy gentleman too as well.
Yeah, because Cowboys lost.
Hey,
Of course.
win-win. There you go. That's the way I look at it.
And you mentioned like last time when the Packers were playing the Cowboys last week, what we saw is them take away that pass rush game for the Cowboys defense. Micah Parsons was almost a non-factor. DeMarcus Lawrence a non-factor. That they were running the ball on them and opening up the passing lanes after they're able to run the ball. Look for the Vikings to kind of blueprint the same thing.
Yeah, you would hope
and
that's what
they're going to
intend to
run
do.
with Dalvin Cook. They're going to try to open up the passing lanes. And listen, we've seen some crazy plays by Justin Jefferson, but nothing more impressive than last week. This guy managed to catch a football against the Bills. Like, mind you, the game would have been over if the Bills just knocked the ball away.
Yeah.
But instead of knocking the ball away,
for the
I don't know
bigger
what they
play.
were doing, but Justin Jefferson reached up with one hand out of nowhere and boom, sticks right to his hand. Catch one hand and boom, brings it down. That's it, first down. It was such an impressive play, and to be double teamed. For the corners not to hit his hand, his arm, do something.
Well,
But that was
yeah.
crazy.
I have a different opinion on that play, but yeah, it was pretty good. But what do you got? You got the Dallas Cowboys in this one, or you got Minnesota?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah, I would like to know. What do you think?
For
You're
the
saying if they
for the
can't run the
Vikings,
ball, it makes sense.
For the Vikings, I love what they're doing on defense. They are playing stout football. And listen, their record for home is 4-0. Their record away is 4-1. They are 8-1 right now. A team that we saw promise in, but we didn't expect them to be this good.
No.
And the Dallas Cowboys, despite being third in the division, they're 6-3. They have a winning record. That's one hell of a division right there. But I like Minnesota at home in this one, and they're going to celebrate after they get this W.
He starts to come, and then he pulls out.
You know what's
Next-
great too about about Troy Aikman getting moved to ESPN? You don't get so many Dallas Cowboy games all the time, so you don't get to hear his dialogue on Fox. No, because we watch Fox. It's the NFC. So much one-sided dialogue about the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I mean it's refreshing.
totally
actually.
biased.
It's different. I think he's still getting a little more drunk though on the game.
You know he's drinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can
Absolutely.
definitely see that. But still, all right. Next
it's
week,
so funny though too is when you listen to him talk about the game, and it's like Joe Buck is like, and he delivers it to him, and he's like, "Well, Joe, you see that was a really good tackle there." And Micah Parsons, let me tell you about Micah Parsons, number 11. That's the number on his jersey there. He's a pretty good tackler, and he really gets after quarterbacks. Joe's just staring at him like,
just is like, yeah.
Thanks,
after
Troy.
that, he starts doing this, and then after this, and then he gets back to it, and he's then you're like, all right, did you even make a point in that
Joe,
whole thing? You
Joe,
just rambled.
Joe,
Yeah.
just roll, just keep
Just
going.
go with it, buddy. Yeah, I know. Hell yeah. All right, next we've got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh, for me, even it's amazing.
What
the difference,
happened
I guess,
last week?
T.J. Watt, I guess, comes back and they just turn into the team. Like, oh, we're back. And then
you know what?
tweeted after he was like,
Najee
that was fun.
Harris.
Najee Harris.
Najee
able to run the
Harris.
game.
They
That's one thing too that happened with this team that you didn't see
They get him
happening at the
back.
beginning of the season, right? Just like that.
They got him back in the lineup, and he was running and catching balls and doing everything for them.
So this can be a close game because again, it's a
Division,
divisional rival
yep.
too. These teams always fight each other hard. You got
True.
T.J. Watt here back on the defense to help out for them against the Cincinnati Bengals team. Jamar Chase, I think, is still banged up, unable to come back and play for them. I think is what they're saying.
Yeah,
He
he's
didn't
still out.
practice,
Remember,
so-
he was put on IR. He's out
right,
for 4 weeks.
Right. Out. Yep. So this can be tougher for them, but I think Cincinnati, if they stick to the game plan, because they do have Joe Mixon. You've seen them be able to lean on Joe Mixon and be able to get those points here. I think, again, establish the run here against this team and stay clean. Joe Burrow can get it done here. I think I like the Cincinnati Bengals in this one.
Yeah, Cincinnati, I like what they're doing, but man, it's almost like a completely different offense without Jamar Chase. I don't know why it's so drastically different, because I get it. Jamar Chase is a premier talent. He's their number one guy. I get it. He kind of opens up the offense and what have you, but they still got Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon had a 4-touchdown game before. You know what I mean? I mean, why aren't you utilizing everybody? T. Higgins, he's making plays, but it's like I wonder why they're not spreading the ball around more. Without Jamar Chase there, spread the ball around. You got Hayden Hurst, at tight end. You got Tyler Boyd. You got T. Higgins. You got weapons. It's not like you don't have anybody. So I'm just kind of confused. Maybe this week they'll kind of get it back on track here offensively, and defensively, they got to start. They got to start playing better. Like I've noticed the last couple of weeks, since they got a little banged up, and then Jamar Chase goes down, and it's like I don't see the same kind of tenacity from the defense anymore. So I wonder if this week they'll kind of get back on track. Listen, you got to be up for this game. This is a divisional matchup, a rival, somebody you want to put in the ground and get a W over just for clout. So going into Pittsburgh, extremely tough environment to play in. I think Cincinnati gets it done. I think they're going to go in there and they're going to get it done. They're going to have – listen, now that T.J. Watt is back, you got to double team this guy. I don't care. You have to chip him. You got to double team him. Keep him a non-factor as much as you can.
Absolutely. Now we got for the night game, they got flex to this time too, by the way. People forget about that.
That's right.
Kansas City and Chargers.
It's flex season.
But I really don't think that's going to be the game that they expected it to be too, just because we've seen the Chargers are so banged up right now. They just don't have enough to compete. They're barely edging out some of these games if they can. That game last week against 49ers, I wanted to blow my brains out. It was so terrible. I was just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, 49ers just ended already. Like, basically, they had the game. Just do it. And I feel bad because, again, Justin Herbert, he has the talent, but just too many injuries around there. Can't do it all himself.
Right.
And get it done. So looking at this game, Kansas City, they're a more talented and more healthy team at this point. And the Chargers, they're just a shell of what they could be. So again, end up in an empty season again with high expectations. Can't get it done because of injuries. I like the Kansas City Chiefs in this one.
Kansas City Chiefs, it's something to monitor, just like you kind of mentioned earlier that Juju is under concussion protocol. He didn't practice today. Marcus Valdes-Scantling didn't practice today. Mecole Hardman didn't practice today. So, although like Mecole, I feel like he's going to be a full participant by Friday because it is like an abdominal illness that he has. So he should be good to go. But Juju something to monitor, and MVS as well. For
And
the
still
Chargers,
got Kadarius Toney that they're trying to get involved in the offense now too.
right?
You know what I mean? That they did a little bit last week, but slowly getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too is like he might be thrust into the starting lineup because of these injuries if they happen.
And what's good, you still have Travis Kelce
right
there.
If they are kept out, that is. For the Chargers, they're getting a little healthier. It looks like Keenan Allen is limited. He has his hamstring issue, but it looks like he's going to be practicing the rest of the week. We'll be back. Mike Williams is back. You know what I mean? So it looks like they're going to get their starting receiving core fully intact. Other than that, placed on IR, Christian Covington. He goes down with a pec injury, ending his season. Agbania, another D lineman, is also put on IR. So it looks like D tackle is a problem for them coming in. And as far as Joey Bosa, a quick update on him is he's not close to even being back yet. It was going to be some time, is what the Brandon Staley said. So look for him next season. And then Dustin Hopkins did not practice, their kicker. Something to kind of keep an eye on. So for the Chargers,
But they really love Dicker the kicker, though. That's been a big thing for them.
Kickers have been injured. I think listen, we talk about the crazy injuries that have happened to star players. We know injuries happen all the time. We know injuries happen to everybody. But it's not only the star players going down like crazy, but also these kickers, these starting kickers are just dropping like flies. And then they got to bring in the next guy off the street. So for this game, for the Chiefs going into the Chargers, last time these two teams met, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was a very close game all the way down to the end. The Chargers almost squeaked it by. But, man, it is tough to go against the Chiefs. I'm going with Kansas City as well.
All right. Yeah, exactly. It's
Hoping
a
that the
thing.
Chargers win, though.
Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, let's just make it a little crazier. And now we've got the San Francisco 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals here. Cardinals getting it done with Colt McCoy, but now it's again, if you look at the injury list here, they've got Kyler Murray and Colt McCoy, both banged up, so
Did
they're
not
not even
practice.
sure what's going on with these guys. And Cliff Kingsbury said, "Yeah, I'm not sure. We're still monitoring both of them. We'll have further updates when game time starts. So we don't know who's going to be trotting out there." At
So
this point.
the funny thing is what Cliff Kingsbury said is he hopes that McCoy or Murray will be available Monday night.
See, that's what I'm saying.
So
we hope to shoot somebody.
My thing is, what happens if McCoy and Murray aren't ready to go? You just forfeit?
Yeah, I know, because I don't even know if they even have a third quarterback on their roster.
They'll
I'd
bring
have to
someone
check it
in.
up, but yeah, right.
And the other thing too to remember is Marquise Hollywood Brown is due to come back from IR.
Yep.
Don't know it. There's a chance he'll play Monday, but obviously it's something to watch as we get further down the season. One other thing, tight end Zach Ertz is out for the season.
Yep.
He is done. Finito. Adios. See you later, Zach.
Boom. See, exactly. So, I mean, but 49ers, I think they have everything going on, too. That defense looking good. So, one of the others, Bosa guys, who has been staying healthy, Nick Bosa getting it done. And you see the pressure that he was able to get against the game, the Chargers last week. Jimmy Garoppolo, again, some of the issues that they had last week, too, wasn't even exactly his fault, too. It's, turnover stuff. He's yelling at some of the guys like, hey, get this done, blah, blah, blah. And I think, again, they just are a better team now that Jimmy G's in there for them. A solid team, a good contender in a division to where it's open again. You've got who to contend with, the Seahawks at this point. So if you can take down the Seahawks, because the Rams are out of the picture, absolutely. So you just that's who you got to aim your eye at, and hopefully you can maybe get the division so you don't have to play in Seattle, because it's a lot tougher there to play there. So I like the 49ers in this one just because, again, overall team, I think, is just better at this point and playing better and healthier.
Yeah, you mentioned the 49ers, too. Candlestick Park is definitely a very tough place to play. It's not called Candlestick anymore,
No,
but that's how I know it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But this is a big win for either team, because if you look at it, 49ers right now are 5-4. The Cardinals are right behind them, 4-6. They're a couple games back, but still, they could get this thing rolling. If they can manage to pull off an upset here, that'd be a big deal.
By the way, Trace McSorley is the third-string quarterback.
There you go. Trace McSorley to the rescue.
To the rescue.
And you know what's funny is that
He looked good for Baltimore. at times,
like
though.
Baltimore, he fits this offense under
he
Cliff
does,
Kingsbury,
right?
so he might actually pan out just fine. But we'll wait and see if that actually happens. I think it'd be exciting, though.
It would be, right?
You know?
Who
But
knows?
Listen,
But is that a game we want to watch on Monday night, though, again?
the
too?
funny-
Oh, man.
you know what? And we kind of talked about this off air, is Colt McCoy actually looked like he had a better he was more efficient in that
In this
offense,
offense,
than Kyler Murray has been this season. We all know Kyler Murray's he's got like a jetpack on him that he just flies around the field if he needs to. But Colt McCoy looked really good last week. So we'll wait and see how that all kind of shapes out. But this is a huge game for both teams. San Francisco, like Jim mentioned, their defense is stellar. It is insane. They found this safety. I forgot his name real quick, but it's like it's like a Hawaiian descent, like a Samoan descent type of name, Halafanga or something like that.
Yep.
This guy is amazing. He's a great safety. He gets like a pick almost every game the last 3 weeks. It's insane. I'm extremely impressed with how this defense is not only playing, but they are healthy. They are getting after teams. So I think that alone is enough to say that, well, Arizona, no matter who you have at quarterback, you're going to be in trouble. So I like what San Francisco is doing. They are healthy on both sides of the ball. Jimmy G is getting it done with Brandon Ayuk, with Deebo Samuel, with Christian McCaffrey now in the lineup. This offensive
that's
line
nice.
got healthy now, right at the right time. San Francisco is going to get this big win in Arizona.
There you go, and that's it. That's our picks for the week. Let's see how we do this week, Joe. I mean, it's been
Hopefully
up and
it's
down,
better than last
hopefully
week.
Last week was kind of futile, but I think a lot of people were in the same boat. But one thing that is also a good winning situation is becoming a know-it-all. Joe, tell everybody how they can become a know-it-all.
Real simple, everybody. Listen, if you've lasted this long, first of all, I commend you and you're a trooper.
Yeah,
second of all, listen, real simple. You're going to see at the end of our credits where to go, but I like to talk face-to-face. I like to get into your mind here. Listen, if you have any friends, family members, anybody that loves football, make sure you let them know about Football on the Know. Head over to YouTube, search us up Football on the Know Show. Boom. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell to let you guys know when we go live. As well, you can also follow us on Facebook. Become a member, become a know-it-all, and it doesn't stop there. If you don't want, listen, we're the best damn interactive NFL talk show out there, and we want to prove it to you all. If you drop a comment down below when we are live, we are going to give you a shout-out. We are going to address it. We will react to your opinion, your comment, your question, whatever. We are here for you, and you could take us on the go if you wish. Very simple. Anywhere you get your podcast, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, we're there. Hit the follow button and follow along our journey.
Just do it.
Yeah, we mixed in poop, lightsabers, and Star Wars into football and stuff. So, I mean, no other show, I think, can do that.
No one could pull that off.
Yeah, and potty training on top of that, too, as well.
And
So-
we had a celebrity, Obi-Wan
we did.
Kenobi,
Obi-Wan
drop by.
Kenobi joined
Listen,
us.
any
Yes,
of you Star
absolutely.
Wars fans, see? We got celebs popping in here.
Absolutely. So, all right, that's our show for this week. We really appreciate you guys joining along with us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Join us next week from 8 till 10 Wednesday nights for more Football on the Know with Jim and Joe.